In today's society, smoking cigarettes has become not only very common, but highly fashionable as well, especially among adults ranging from ages 25 to 44. In spite of the health warning signs provided by countless studies and doctors about how smoking can lead to numerous health complications, people seem not to comprehend the danger of this habit and continue smoking. Despite the health warning signs, tobacco companies inscribe in every pack of cigarettes stating that cigarette smoking is harmful to our health. People seem to ignore this warning and continue to spend a significant amount of their income. Tobacco companies are doing an exceptional job at promoting their products, mainly because their advertising is on point. Cigarette advertisement attract people into purchasing cigarettes by stimulating their product in magazines, commercials, and billboards. This particular health issue is important because smoking causes numerous illnesses. Some illnesses include but are not limited to cardiovascular disease, lung disease, vocal cancer, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, high blood pressure, asthma, macular degeneration, and many more. All these illnesses can be prevented by simply not smoking or quitting smoking. In our research paper, we will be discussing 8 variables that may or may not be risk factors to smoking. Our presentation will also include literature reviews, the methodology, and further discussion of the 8 variables.
Based on data from the National Health Interview Survey conducted in 2008, 10% of Asian adults were current smokers, in comparison with 21% of Black adults and 21% of white adults. 54% of non-Hispanic white adults had never smoked, compared with 64% of non-Hispanic Blacks and 68% of Hispanic adults. This indicates that more whites smoke in comparison with African Americans and Hispanics. Hispanic adults were about half as likely to be everyday smokers, compared with non-Hispanic whites and non-Hispanic Black adults. According to data collected in 2010 in California, of the sample of 16,937 people surveyed, 1,013 were Asians. 7% of the Asians reported that they had smoked cigarettes. 612 of this sample were African Americans, and the percentage that smoked was 16.5%. Of the 10,878 whites surveyed, 12.1% smoked, and of the 3,965 Hispanics, 12% reported smoking cigarettes. According to the data collected from the National Survey on Drug Use and Health in 2008, of the 180,833 participants who participated in the self-reported survey, the overall prevalence of cigarette smoking among U.S. adults during the 30 days before being surveyed was 26.9%. Whites, at 27.7%, had significantly higher prevalences of smoking than did the total of U.S. adults. African Americans at 27.6%, Hispanics at 23.9%, overall Asians at 14.5% had lower prevalences of smoking than did the total of U.S. adults. This indicates that Asians are less likely to smoke than other ethnic groups. According to national data collected in 2008, 23% of men were current smokers compared with 19% of women. 63% of women had never smoked in comparison with 53% of men. This indicates that men are more likely to smoke than women. 15% of men smoked cigarettes, while 9.2% of the sample of women reported smoking cigarettes. Self-reported data collected from the National Survey on Drug Use and Health in 2002 till 2005 shows that among men, African Americans at 33.6% had significantly higher prevalence of smoking cigarettes than did the total of U.S. men, which was 30%. Among women, whites at 25.9% had significantly higher prevalences of cigarette smoking than did the total of U.S. women, which was 23.9%. African Americans at 22.8% had statistically similar prevalences of cigarette smoking to the prevalence of the total of U.S. women.
In the past 40 to 50 years, smoking was a pastime for the rich, but the smoker's profile has reversed. It appears that the prevalence of smoking is now much higher among the low end of the socioeconomic spectrum. According to the American Journal of Public Health, in the year 2000, Americans living below the poverty line smoked at rates of about 32% compared with 23% of those above the poverty level. In addition to this, the National Health Interview Survey and the Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report found that in 2011, prevalence of current smoking was higher among adults living below the federal poverty level, which was at 29%, than among those at above this level, which was 17.9%. These percentages came from the NHIS survey that included an adult core sample of 33,104 respondents, which were U.S. civilian population aged 18 years and over. America's rural population is greatly impacted by cigarette smoking. This population group is more likely to smoke and less likely to quit due to the lack of access to prevention and treatment for smoking. According to the American Lung Association report, State of Tobacco Control for 2012, out of 121 identified rural communities, 102 of them received an F grade in California. The F grade perhaps is due to smoking being seen as more socially acceptable in such areas. Furthermore, the smoking prevalence in rural communities is between 16 and 21%. One interesting fact was that the counties with the highest smoking prevalence rates were all California rural counties. Also, high school students in rural areas have higher smoking rates than those in urban areas, 16.4% versus 14.7%.